Hello my friends, I'm so glad you stopped by today. Hey, it's been a little while since I've done a longer YouTube video. I've been real busy recording some songs here in my home studio. I just finished up a new one and I thought I'd do some, I'm going to do a series of videos on how I mixed this song, some of the plugins I used. So today we're going to check out drums. And there's a certain plugin I use from Acustica Audio called Pink 4, just to help give the drums a little more punch and break through the mix a little bit more. So I'm going to show you how I use that plugin today. So you're going to want to stick around.
Couple of old microphones, writing songs all winter on the farm.
So let's check it out. Let's jump in here. You guys, the follow channel, you know I use Easy Drummer. I love this classic rock kit Eddie Kramer did of Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin fame. You know, that's kind of my style. It's like blues rock. I love big guitar solos like Dave Gilmour stuff and all that. So love Eddie. So I use this as kind of based on some Bonzo type drums. And I use them, usually I do them, try to do the dry with no effects on the drums. And then I add my own effects and EQ after I've recorded the song. So then I go, you know, and I listen to the song when I start to mix, and I'm like, try to figure out what it's missing. I love when the snare's got a real pop to it, and it's a little colored. I watched a video a long time ago, and it talked about Brendan O'Brien. He would use piccolo snares when he'd do Stone Temple Pilots, because it had this real pop and kind of like bright color to it, and you can really define a band's sound a lot of times with how that snare is. So that's something I keep in my head when I'm listening. So I wanted more pop, so instantly I went to this Pink 4 because I've used it before, and it does that. It can pop out certain points in the drums to make them come through the mix better. It's based on some API stuff and some Cappy. So, and then they also have some Sound Workshop 30s that were made by former API engineers. You know, when I was at Sunset Sound in LA back in August recording in the studio there, the console we went through was a custom API console. They have one in Studio 3 as well. And then in Studio 2 they have a Neve 8088 console, which I was listening to some clips. My buddy Drew Dempsey out there at Sunset was been working with Orianthe on her album there, and they were going through that Neve console. It was pretty cool. So anyways, so we're using API stuff here. Again, put your headphones on. So if you take a listen here on the, we'll listen on the snare here. I used the Pink 4. Now, what's really cool with these is they emulate all of the, there's different EQs, and then there's different preamps from the consoles. So I'm using this Custom 03 preamp, which is an API 512 console, and it sounds really amazing. Now, I saw a really awesome video the other day where a guy was saying what you do is you take different preamps and put them on each channel. So you'd have, you know, one preamp on this channel, then you use a different preamp on your snare, different on the hi-hat, different toms. So it's like you're going through a console. And then he was taking tape emulation. Acustica does one called Taupe with these different tape machine emulations, and then you put one of those on each channel. So you're running through, it's like you're running through the strip of a console, and then you're running through tape as well on each channel to give it that real kind of warm analog feel. So I think I'm going to do that next. I'll probably do the whole thing with the Pink 4, so that API style. And then I also picked up Acustica's Gold and Magenta on the Black Friday sales here. So I'm going to do Gold then the same way, like take all the pinks off and then do Gold. So we'll have it mixed with API stuff and then mixed with Gold stuff, and then we'll listen and see if we can feel a difference in the color and all that. I think that'll be fun for some videos here later on. So so let's take a listen. So what I did was I got it on that Custom 3 preamp on the snare, which is API 512. I did a shelf here at 2.5K, and that's, see, now they have A, B, C, D, and E. So these are all different EQ module. So this is the Sound Workshop 30, the one that the API engineers they did back in the 70s. So I got the shelf there. I also boosted 1.5K, just a little bit there. Now that's a what's that? A 5500, and then the low frequency at 300. I took a little away there, and that's also 5500. So let's turn it off, and then I'll give you a listen to how the snare sounds with it off, and then we'll do it on. Let's solo out the snare. So this is with no EQ, no preamp. So you can hear that gives it a lot more snap and pop. Let's take a listen to it in the mix. So this is with it off and then with it on. So here is off. So you hear there, it's really a lot more attack, so it comes out a lot more in the mix. Before we didn't have the preamp and the EQ on, and the snare was just kind of dead back there, and it wasn't out where I like it to be, where you can hear it really whack. So I love it on that. I threw a little bit on the toms too, where I just did a little boost there at 3K. With the toms, and that was a 550A EQ there. That A is the 550A one. And then I used a custom 7 preamp on that, which is a Cappy preamp. So let's take a little listen to that. If we just kind of scoot this back here, maybe. Yeah. So this is with it off. So it's subtle on the toms there, but there's a little bit more pop on it there, which I like. I like those big, heavy Black Sabbath, toms. I've been listening to Sleep and High on Fire, like those guys, and I like those big toms like that. It just sounds kind of cool. So then the other thing that I did too was on the drum bus. I also used Pink 4 now. And stick around a little longer because I'm going to show you. There's a certain plugin that Paul Third showed me. He's another YouTube guy. He does a bunch of stuff on Acustica Audio and hardware, comparing plugins with hardware. And he showed me this really cool plugin I'm going to show you next after this. That's going to show you kind of underneath the hood of these so you can see what the EQs are doing. So stick around. So on the drum bus, right, I used it on there. I used the custom 3 preamp on that one, which is the 2500 compressor. And then we did, I did a shelf here at 10K. So I did a shelf there because I wanted the cymbals to kind of come out a little bit more. I like when the cymbals are real, I just like hearing the high part of the cymbals out there. And then I also, at 800, I did a boost there. So let's turn it off. We'll listen to it in the mix here, and you can see, just take a little listen to see what this sounds like. So this is with Pink 4 off, and then I'll turn it on. So you hear that, just that little bit there, just kind of brightens up the top end on the drums there, which I like. So I love this plug-in again because I like messing with my snare with it to get that to punch through, and then on the drum bus it's phenomenal. So leave me some comments below, like how you guys use this plug-in if you are. I'd like to hear other things we could do. Again, I think the next thing I want to do is start getting it to where I have the preamps on every channel, and then I'm going to do tape so we can get that kind of analog feel going through the whole song complete. I think that'll be pretty cool. So let me show you this plug-in real quick that Paul Third made me aware of. When you're messing with these Acustica plugins or any, it's hard sometimes to see like what exactly you're boosting. And when I first started, I did this mix. I did listen to the first mix in my car. It sounded really harsh, and I kind of went back. I was like, well, I'm boosting too much at like 2K. I have too much going on that 2 to 5K range there. It was just getting really harsh. So I went back and I kind of lightened up different areas. I figured out where I wanted the 2K to be pushed, and then I pulled it away from some other areas and just made the whole mix sound a lot more pleasing. It's easy to get carried away with that and just start boosting 2K because it sounds good individually, but when you start listening to it, it just accumulates and it kills your ears. So I love that Paul showed me this next plugin I'm going to show you. Basically, it's from Bertum Audio, and it's an equalizer. It'll analyze what you're boosting. Like, it'll analyze the plugin, and it'll show you exactly visually what you're boosting. So what you do is you open up an instance in front of the plugin. There's a little tone generator there. And then you open up another instance behind it. And there you can see it's showing you what this EQ is doing then. So if we open up the EQ here, you can see, 10K with that shelf. Well, there it is. There's the shelf at 10K, right? So that's where we're boosting up and getting those cymbals to pop. And then at 800, there's the 800 where we're boosting too. And then if you change these EQs, right, the different EQ modules that they're emulating, and see it changed the shelf there. So it's a different shelf, different shelf, different shelf, right? So it's really cool to kind of see where's it boosting at now, because all these consoles, every channel's different. So, one console might be saying, yeah, we're boosting at 10K, but it's really boosting, farther out, and this one's driving out even further, like up into 17. So there's different values there. So this is an awesome plug-in. Thank you, Paul, for sharing this with me to kind of show me what all my different plugins are doing, where the boosts are at. So it'd be good to help me learn. And again, how I was talking about the mix is getting too harsh. I think knowing where exactly you're boosting, it's going to help. I'm going to start to keep a journal here, so as I'm mixing, I know what I used. I think that's going to be helpful as well. But so Bertum Audio, go to the website. It's free. You can do a little donation on there, which is really cool. But good plug-in to use, especially with this Acustica stuff. So that's all. Hope you got something out of this. Leave me a comment below if if you're using these Pink 4 on anything. I'd like to know how you're doing it. If you're an engineer and you got some ways you could do this different, leave them below so we can all learn. Really appreciate that. Go to my Reward Music website, and you can listen to the songs, arlo.rewardmusic.com. Just click into the music section in the home demos, and you'll see this song Taste of Heaven in there. Hit the subscribe, hit the little bell, because I'm going to be doing more of these videos coming up. We're going to be doing bass. Next video, I think what we're going to talk about is on the drum bus. I also sent it to this, which is my Sunset Sound Studio Reverb from IK, which I love because I used this Live Room Studio 1 for the drums. This is the room that I recorded in. I stood right here, which is really cool. This is where the booth I sang in, where Jim Morrison and Janis Joplin sang in, which is really cool. And Eddie Van Halen, I think, was standing here when he did Eruption. So I love using this because it kind of reminds me of the sound of that amazing drum sound that was in that room. So we'll do this next. We'll kind of run through just how this sounds in the next video. So thanks for stopping by. Hit the subscribe, little bell. Hope you guys get to play some guitar today. Take care now. Bye.
see her shadow in the hall. I'd take her back, maybe see her in the